What is up, people? It is 4 o'clock Eastern on a Tuesday. I was about to say April. July 21st. And that means it's time for Monster Maverick. And welcome to those joining in the chat. We're having our weekly shindig here that is on MSP Waves. So I did a couple fun things over the past little week. And one of them was I put this show onto Anchor FM, which I got the link and idea from Cal over at Leo Finance. Anchor FM is a podcast hosting thing. You upload it there and then it distributes to other places. So far, the show, I uploaded 15 episodes and the show is live on like 5 platforms, something like that. And it's still under review with Apple and Apple and Google. So those are the big ones, right? But it does have a Spotify link, which I know a lot of people listen to. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that down in here. That's the Spotify link where you can find all episodes as I upload them each and every week. So, I have a note here that I forgot to talk about last week, which is making fun of Matt Clark and all the Australians who go to bed. So, those guys, or it's whatever time, 5:30 in the morning or something over there. They always want the replays, but with Spotify or Anchor.fm or what are some of the other ones? We got Breaker.audio, PCA.st, RadioPublic.com. So those are all places where you can catch the stream, and it's audio only on that. So the make fun of A.A. Gabriel too, absolutely. So these are audio only. So if you have a commute into work and you're driving along, then it might be an easy way to keep up to date with everything. So I thought I would share that, and I will be sure to drop the links in the replay post on Hive. Yeah, Aussies, man. What are you gonna do? They're in the upside down, man. So, so that was my fun little thing that I did this week, and it's super easy actually. You just sign up for an account, you upload, and you do a little description thing, and the rest is automagic. And so I'm just waiting really for iTunes and for Google Podcasts to approve it, which can apparently take a little while. But if you're live, you can watch the stream, or if you're on YouTube, you can watch the replay. And Rondon is our producer here. We're on MSPWaves.com. We're on 3Speak. We're on Vim. And is Theta working? I wasn't sure about that from your show last night. Whether that was actually functional yet or not, or if that was in the plans. We'll let Ron get back to us on that. So we got a few more people joining in the audience here, which is always good to see. And so there's a couple things I wanted to hit before any of the other stuff. So if you are on the live stream, you'll see that my green screen is still not perfect with my new webcam. So you'll see that I'm kind of see-through. You'll see some halo kind of effect. Who is speaking right now? Neil? Yes, I'm the one that is speaking right now. You should see my name on the voice list on Live on Air. You should start seeing that light up as I speak, and that'll let you know that I'm the one that's speaking. And it is storming here. Just started, so hopefully we make it through the whole show without getting cut off or anything like that. And this time, so we had one cut off before, but I was able to kind of log in on my phone, but my phone is not cooperating today, so I don't think that's going to happen. But hopefully we'll make it through without any interruptions. So, with no further ado, let's dive into all the stuff that is happening over the past week. Let's see, I gotta check off my list and make fun of Matt Clark and Australians. Got that. A.A. Gabriel and all the rest of them. So there were two fun things I wanted to hit. So one was Isaria, who is the who is the composer du jour, or I don't know if she's officially the only composer or what, but whatever. She released new music for Splinterlands. So I'm gonna drop the post right here. And Krim is dropping the MS2 Waves knowledge for Byzantinist, whatever. So it's called Dungeons of Mortis. Now, Mortis is, of course, the Death Splinter. So I'm guessing this is going to be for a boss encounter or a dungeon encounter in the player versus environment stage of the game. I have no idea if Harrison Mir does a lot of music too. I just know that I saw Azaria post this on I think I saw it on Twitter actually. So I'm going to play it for you, and it's not too long, 3 minutes 26 seconds, and you'll get the creepy vibe that Azaria has going on here. So listen to this. So yeah, that was Dungeons of Mortis, official music for Splinterlands by Izaria, and I dig it. So it's kind of gets you pumped a little bit. It's a little bit off-putting, which makes sense for a death dungeon. So I'm looking forward to that P versus E kind of gameplay where we can showcase some of this music. So that was super fun. The other fun thing that I wanted to mention before getting into the heavy stuff was our good friend Gold Matters here. So if you'll, there was a comment left by Byzantinus a few days ago. Let's put that here in the chat. And it says, wow, congrats to Gold Matters on obtaining his second gold Archmage Arius and also setting a new record for most paid for a single card, $6,069.69. So clearly that was a sale from J69. But wow, that is a lot of money for a single card. And, you know, Gold Matters is definitely stocking up on the gold cards. And, you know, he cornered the market on alpha. I don't know if it was all the dragons yet or just the lightning dragons. But I don't know, a bunch of them, right? So, you know, when we have our BTC pump and things go, you know, through the roof, especially these out of print editions, you know, he's going to be sitting very, very pretty, I think, and be able to sell these cards for absurd amounts of money because he has all of them. You know, I've got a bunch of alpha cards, but I don't have a bunch of like gold legendaries. I got a couple, but not anywhere near as many as he does. And he targeted those most rare ones, which obviously are the hardest to get, and isn't afraid to pay up for them. So, you know, like the old Rothschild quote says, you know, buy when people are fearful and sell when people are greedy. So I think he's on the right track there. But I mean, just wow. I know other games like on CryptoKitties and Gods and Change and stuff have had higher single card purchases, you know, like 100 ETH or ETH or however you pronounce it. But wow, I mean, still, it's just an enormous amount of money for the for what is a digital commodity, basically. Well, not a commodity, a digital collectible, the opposite of commodity. Those are non-fungible and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if that thunder is making it through to my microphone, but it is definitely thundering here. So that was just incredible. And I just wanted to share that in case any of you guys missed it. So bear in mind that a lot of big CryptoKitty purchases were actually for charity. I did not know that, actually. But, yeah, I mean, that's fine. So, you know, whether it's for charity or not, it's still a lot of money to spend on one particular card. So it doesn't matter how you cut it. That's just a lot of money. So congrats. And, you know, how much in Dark Energy Crystals is that? Do we have, let's see, we have Banjo in here. So 6,069 divided by 0.00043, just as a near average. That is 14 million Dark Energy Crystals. Holy crap, that's a lot. So, you know, I don't know if J69 has turned around and sold that on the market yet, but I mean, it's just been craziness. So, my quail are getting scared from the thunder. All right. So if you hear that squeaking, that's what quail sound like. So let's check out the Dark Energy Crystal market to see if any of that has made its way through. You know, I haven't bought much in the last little while. We've actually had a little bit of a pump in Dark Energy Crystals, and that led to some interesting stuff. I don't know why my mouse is going so slow. So, so that's the chart. We also had, of course, that's in Hive, and we actually had a little Hive pump this past day. So let's do the deck USD command. Let's just do Hive Engine to zoom in a little bit. So yeah, you can see that we had a little bump in the price in terms of US dollars, which of course all Splinterlands cards are priced in, you know, as converted to Dark Energy Crystals. So the net result of that is that what we saw on deck 101, which is, you know, the service that gives you a little bit better than burning rates, is that a bunch of people started sending in gold cards. Kyokiz did it, Coronavirus did it, and a couple others. And what Gerber and I were talking about and that we figured out was that people were taking advantage of the bump in US dollar value of Dark Energy Crystals, and then sniping those cards on the market that were underneath their burn value, sending them to us for slightly over the burn value, and just making the spread, which is great. That's arbitrage at its finest. But if you are one of those people that has cards close to the burn value listed on the market, then you want to keep a close eye on that value, and to make sure that you don't end up selling like some of these people did for less than burn, especially less than burn minus 5%, because at that point, just send them to deck 101, right, and save yourself the arbitragers, profiting off of you. That was more thunder. So, there was just a whole bunch of cards that happened too, and so as my public service announcement to all sellers into the market, just be aware of the current market prices. The bids on peak monsters are still either not working or under development or whatever they are, whatever stage that they are in, and as a result, there's no standing bid at the burn like there was under the Steam days. So, there are lots of people running market buying bots out there that are looking for those arbitrage opportunities and just snapping them up as soon as they appear. So, yes, you do need bots to be aware 24/7, but if you have a bid, yes, I am in the basement. If you have a bid at the burn value, then that will at least limit that. But right now, that doesn't exist. So the best we can do is to be as aware as you can be. So if it happens while you're sleeping, yeah, you're kind of stuck. But you're awake at least 2/3 of the day. So just all I'm saying is be aware, and don't give up additional profits. You always have to keep in mind, especially minus the market fee, and maybe you're listing for 4% or 4.5%, which is a little bit less, but still. It's still at least several percentage points. So, if you're, as far as I'm concerned, if you're listing less than 10% over the burn value, you might as well just send them to deck 101 anyway, because then you don't have to wait, and you're getting pretty much the same money regardless. So, but it takes time for people to realize that. Anywho, that's that's just how things go in the markets. So. That was Dark Angel Crystals. I do want to take another look at orbs, because we had some orb-like news. So let's bring that up on Hive Engine. So not too much volatility, but because Hive has been pumping, that's maybe a slight upward bias there. I don't even know if the pump is still on. Actually, let's check that. Let's go to trading view. So load that up and go to Hive BTC. Let's go to the daily. So yeah, it reversed mostly, but still, we're up a little bit compared to where we were. So if the Hive price increases, then you would expect that the price on Hive Engine would decrease, because if you're going constant in US dollars. But if it's not, then then you are going up in US dollar terms. So the news that we got about orbs was during the weekly AMA that Aggro did. So he said that, or he revealed the name, that the replacement for orbs are going to be called dice. So I really thought that the orbs was going to be like the category of thing, and then the skins were going to be the like mini editions, because it was orbs, Winds of Change was the skins. So apparently that is not true. We're going to just go from orbs to dice, and the guy, the little image of the merchant, the octopus guy, is going to be like the dice merchant. Yeah, that's what he said. Dice. And so those are going to be the replacements for orbs. Jessic says not cubes. Aggro likes his dice bitches game, so I'm thinking that he's going with that. So we'll see what the official announcement is, but that's what Aggro said on the AMA last week. So he said a couple other things about it, though. They were targeting 18 cards in the set, in the mini set, which I think is more than was in Orbs. And there's going to be summoners. So that's kind of spectacular, actually. And he said 5 summoners. So it'd be 5 summoners and then 13 monsters, which is Byzantinus is not happy with the dice name. so so 5 summoners would be all the splinters. And Rondon's going full Karen here. Let me talk to your manager, Aggroed. And so we're gonna have summoners and monsters. So it's gonna be a much more playable set than the orbs were, which is which is great. Byzantinus is an angry cat. So so I think that will increase the utility and increase the value of those cards. So if we look on the market, let's see what we got going on. See how the orbs are doing here. And of course, orbs had no dragons, but they had other stuff. So yeah, I don't see too much movement here. We got that. Copy that. I don't know if you guys looked at the last post on Hive for the replay, but actually copied all these pictures into the post. So it's hopefully a little bit easier to follow along with the replay. So yeah, 18 cards. They said about half of them, I think he said 9 actually, were done as far as artwork and design for abilities and whatnot were done. And so they have 9 to go. So timing wise, and this part is my total speculation, if they have 9 already, it's probably been under development for a bit, so maybe another month, and then we'll get our dice. I know they have the artwork done for the buying page, because we have that image that we posted last week from the merchant who's going to sell you your dice. And of course, I expect that they will also be included as season and quest rewards, just like as 1%, just like the orbs were and like the untamed packs are now. And I'm excited. I like new mini sets. I think those are great because orbs had a lot, and we don't know edition like printing numbers, but there are a lot of orbs out there, but not so much that everybody has all of them, which I like. I like having more limited editions that changes up, not only just changes it up for just me, as one player, but it changes it up in that not everybody's going to be playing the exact same teams all the time, which to me is a good thing. So I'd rather have 10 mini sets than one new whole edition that everybody has. But just adds more dynamics. It adds more possibilities and adds to the strategy of the game. So that is my take anyway. Obviously, that's more work on the development side, but that's their problem. A couple other notes from the AMA was that collection scores maybe next week is what I said, and that was on Friday. So that would be this week. And so timing and rollouts and everything. I have no idea what the reasoning behind the name dice is. I just know orbs were round, dice are cubes, or orbs are spheres, if you want to be technical about it. That's my guess, So collection scores, and there's been some chatter, and crypto. I can remember. Is it Cryptomancer? There's so many cryptos. But he was talking in the deep dive channel quite a bit, answering a bunch of questions, which is great. So the current plan is that collection scores the number itself will be published on your account somehow in the next week or so. We'll have some time to get used to that, to get an idea of what all that is, and what it's based on is that it's based on your collection. So it's based on the Dark Energy Crystal burn value. Dark Energy Crystal burn value of the highest version of all the cards that you have. So the example he gave was if you have like Lord of Darkness, if you have an alpha and a beta, both of those will count towards your collection score, even though you're only going to be playing one of them, whichever one's higher. If you have like 1,000 level 1 pirate archers, you only get credit for one of them because only one is the highest one. But if you have, let's say, a level 8 pirate archer alpha, a level 3 pirate archer alpha, and a level 5 pirate archer beta, then you'll get credit for both the level 8 alpha and the level 5 beta. So that's interesting. And then once we have the once you have the values kind of like established, and we understand what different people are playing at what different levels with what different collection values, then they will implement the thresholds. And I asked about the threshold specifically, and the current plan is that there's actually going to be thresholds at every single tier. So if you're going from silver 3 to silver 2, that's going to be, you're going to have a minimum collection score. And if you have silver 2 to silver 1, that's going to be a minimum collection score. And then another threshold from silver 1 to gold 3. So Jacek brings up my next point. So he says, so maxed out deck can have the same collection score as level 1 level deck with some delegated cheap GFLs, which is stupid. So golds are going to count, at least under the current plan, golds are going to count for their full Dark Energy Crystal burn value. So if you have like one, beta epic Dark Energy Crystal value, that's going to be a huge amount of Dark Energy Crystals. That's going to be worth 60 regular, commons and rares, common and rare of regular foil cards. So it's going to be tricky to figure out what's going to work there. And I expect there to be a couple iterations there. But, for now, that puts a huge weight towards the gold cards, which honestly I'm in favor of. So golds have been the unloved stepchild of the Splinterlands market for a long time. They're supposed to they're 50 times the rarity in print numbers, but in terms of market value, they're well under that. So the market has not deemed them worth the printing rarity because they had no additional utility. So then they added the 10% bonus to Dark Energy Crystal battles or battle winnings, which is great. And then gold foil tournaments are super lucrative. Yes, there is gold foil tournaments for the people who win, but that's just the people who win. That's not everybody. So that's Jacek and Byzantinus and a few other people that consistently win. So you could argue with me, but the market speaks for itself. They are not 50 times the regular foil prices. So this is an additional. It's going to be an additional support for gold foil cards. So is there going to be a run on them? Well, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that there will be. So like Jacek was saying, whether they're rented cards or whether the level 1 bot accounts just outright buy a few to get around the collection score thresholds. I don't know. It's going to depend on how the thresholds work as well as the rewards schedules. So let's see, what do we got? What does Jacek post here? So let's see. The deck floor is great, yeah, no exact values yet, but I confirmed all rarities will be weighted the same regardless of edition or foil. No, so level 4 common will be the same as level 4 common untamed. And I said, apparently I said news to me. It says, so you can't cheese the system by just renting a gold foil alpha. And yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, their worth comes from rarity, which is only helpful for collectors. For people focused on gameplay, gold foil adds nothing. And yes, that's the entire point, Byzantinist. And that might be changing here. So, we'll have to see, hopefully soon, how the exact mechanics work out. But the last thing Agrid said on Friday was that they're going to count, Dark Energy Crystal burn value. So we'll see how that dynamic shapes out. And that might not be the final word. That's just what he said on Friday. So I expect to go through a few iterations of this, while they're tweaking and getting everything right, and everybody's going to complain, and then they're going to tweak a couple things, and then 75% of people will complain, and all that kind of stuff. So that was the big interesting thing. So I still think we're going to see an extra boost for the golds, and then the 2 round anytime tournaments are live now, which is cool, and people are already complaining about that one. And so the major I don't know what you call it, failure, craziness, what have you, that round 2 is actually adding to your record from round 1, I think is just bananas. Uh, so the problem with the 1 round anytime tournaments is not that they're 1 round. It's that there's so many people playing and so many bots and so many people not showing up that there's a lot of people who end up with perfect records, a good fraction of which are just no contests rather than actual wins. So I was in a tournament. I was actually in a gold foil tournament the other day, and I was number, I don't know. I was right on the bubble of the larger awards. I was at like number 15 or 13 or something, and then I stayed the same rank up until the tournament closed, and then a bunch of people went above me because of no contests, and then I got bumped down to the 500 Dark Energy Crystal reward tier instead of the 5,000 or whatever it was, and that's annoying, right? And that's been a problem with the anytime tournaments the whole time. So in response to that, they said, okay, we can do second round. So okay, great. Now with the second round, the top X%, whether it's 20%, 50%, or whatever, moves on to the second round, and then there's a new round of battles. So given the problem with the first round, it makes no sense at all to count that as going towards your second round results, because you're just I'm the best around, nothing's gonna keep you down. Yeah. So the second round of the anytime tournaments should start from scratch, and it just boggles my mind that they didn't do it this way to begin with. And like I said, the few 2 round anytimes that have been executed so far, people are already coming into the Discord chat and saying this is not fair and it shouldn't be this way, and I totally agree with them. And I think that should have been obvious from the start. So I don't know why they did it this way, aside from just being a little bit easier. Apparently, I am Daniel Russo in tournaments, so that's that's always fun. Uh, if crane kick, done properly, no defense. So yeah, I'm hoping that design flaw will be fixed fairly soon, and I haven't heard anything from the actual team about or responding to that, other than, well, I just haven't heard a response. So hopefully they're paying attention, and hopefully they will fix that, because if you went up, let's say 14-0, and then the next round you start off 14-0 versus somebody 11-3, then you're automatically advantaged over that. So then what's the point of the second round? Some other people brought up the comment that with 2 rounds you should play half as many battles per round so that the total amount is the same. And I don't have real strong feelings about that. Because the rounds, like a single round anytime, it takes whatever 20-30 minutes, and so your second round would be that or less, and that seems okay to me. But other people are saying, well, with large tournaments and you play so many games and it takes so long that it gives bots an advantage and all that kind of stuff. So maybe they have a point. I don't really have, like I said, I don't really have strong feelings about it, but I'm perfectly open to that idea. And Jessica says the first round is a bot/weak account filter. The second round is the actual tournament, and I agree exactly with that. So, the way I phrased it was that like they're heats, not a relay. So what I mean by that is that in like track and field, like a heat is just it's a race. Let's say if you're doing the 100-meter dash or whatever. So they run 100-meter dashes with 6 or 8 people, and they do that over and over again with different groups. And the top, half or whatever, can continue to the next round. But that previous round doesn't. It's not the finals. It's not determining your actual ranking. It's just determining whether you're good enough to continue. So whereas a relay, each lap builds on itself. So cumulative wins add up at the end. So Paco Limited says, it is a joke that it has come so far. I mean, there's no other reason to put your level 1 bots into the tournament than fuck up the game. Well, I don't think so. I think they're just, that's kind of a spray and pray method of rewards, The level 1 bots are just, they're optimizing with respect to their deck costs, so, and I understand that. I just, we just need to have a design that takes that into account. Because, the fact of the matter is that with the current number of players and the current distribution of cards, the dark energy crystals, the dark energy crystal values or card rewards or whatever, it is profitable, plenty profitable, to run level 1 accounts. And, whether or not they get rewards in the tournaments, I mean, they just need one ever to make it worthwhile, because there's no additional cost to them. At least, not significant ones. I mean, a 10 Dark Energy Crystal entry fee is not significant, or not a significant enough deterrence. And if you made the entry fee so high that it would deter them, then everybody else will complain too. So, who knows? Maybe it's just, training for them. It could be any number of things. So yeah, regardless, the 2-round anytimes need to be tweaked there, and that the second round should be the one that counts. The first round is just to get into the second round. Second round is the one that counts for rewards. And I don't know if they've done this or not, but I hope they have it structured so that only the second round can receive rewards. Because if you reward so many people, but the second round only accommodates a lesser number, then you might be giving rewards to people in round 1. I hope that they have prevented that. I don't actually know if that's the case or not. And Byzantinist is saying, so regarding collection score, a lot determines on what the primary goal/objective is. For example, if the goal is people need to invest more to get more rewards, which is part of the theme from the $10 Summoner Spellbook, then 1, it's fine if Gold Foil and GFL contribute a lot to the score. 2, it's fine if different editions and even multiple copies, 100 unused rescue androids, contribute. 3, but it's not going to stop level 1 accounts with some GFLs from entering champion level. If the goal is focused more on sorting players into appropriate leagues to create more competitive environments, then 1, Gold Foil should not count for extra because there is no additional gameplay benefit. 2, other editions and multiple copies should not contribute. You should only use highest level. 3, furthermore, it should also be capped based on summoner level. You shouldn't get credit for a high-level monster that you can't use. And Byzantina says, no, it is possible for people in second round to not get rewards and first round to get rewards. Okay, that's just bananas. I mean, that defeats, the entire... depends on price structure. Yeah, I understand all that. But I think that, just from the logic of having a second round, only the people in the second round should get rewards. And that shouldn't be that hard to implement, I don't think. But, it goes back to that, building on your record thing. So that needs to be fixed. So, for this giant post that Byzantinist is putting in here, yeah, I think they're going for a little bit of a hybrid, approach where, only the highest versions counted. I think somebody asked about the summoner, if it's actually a usable card rather than just a random card in your collection. And I'm not sure what that is. Obviously, when the collection score comes out in a week or so, then we will have answers to lots of these questions. And I don't know if we're going to be privy to the calculations of the collection score. But, with the mathematical intelligence of the Splinterlands players, then we'll be able to reverse engineer. I was going to say backward engineer. But reverse engineer all that to see what happens pretty quickly. So then you need some additional validation check that compares price structure to top X%. Yes, you would, but I don't think that's that hard. At least, to my mind. The other thing we got out of the AMA was the game credits. I had mentioned in the AMA that I didn't understand how this whole thing worked, and one of the people from the game token was actually on the call or on the AMA and joined in and with Aggroed and shared some of his knowledge, which was really helpful actually. So basically, as of right now, game is just an ERC20, just like any other ERC20. You stake it and you get rewards from an inflation pool, and the there's a certain amount distributed every week, and you get a percentage of that based on the amount you stake. But then the game developers, also get an equal amount of rewards to whatever you got. So basically, by staking the game, you're then funneling some extra income to the game developers. So you do that to support whatever developers that you are involved with. And in our case, obviously, that's Splinterlands. And Biz is talking about absolute number versus percentage and how that can be an issue. Yeah, I get all that, but regardless, round 2 should be the winners. That's where game credits are right now, and over time, their roadmap is that they are going to be developing more capabilities. So the big one that the guy was talking about was promotional special items, which is really interesting for a game like Splinterlands. So I would love to see some special edition cards or special edition items and spells. Whenever we get those, that goes towards these supporters, whether it's through game tokens or some other system. I just want to see more uniqueness spread throughout the Splinterlands ecosystem. And that goes back to the same thing I was saying about the mini sets, where the wider variety of things that we have that are not universally distributed, the more thinking you need to go into the whole thing. Because when we get to a point where let's say the average player has bits and pieces from 10 different sets, then it becomes much more of a play your opponent rather than play some optimal set. And so, at that point, tools like, the battle chain from Peak Monsters will be a lot more useful. Because, as it stands now, except in the very highest of tournaments, I don't care about who my opponent is, really. I might look to see what teams they've played in the last 5 to see if they're on a quest. Like, well, they've played 4 out of 5 water matches, so they're probably going to play water again. But other than that, I don't care who my opponent is. Certain people I see, and I know that I'm going to have a tough time. Like if occasionally I'm high enough to run into Jessica, I was like, I'm probably going to lose. But other than that, it just doesn't matter enough. There's not enough uniqueness to matter, really. So, over time, as we develop these mini sets, as we develop special promotional items, then the more your opponent will matter. And I think that is a good thing for the game. And Biz says, I agree, round 2 should be winners. In the old real-time tournaments, you saw how furthest round reached was more important than number of wins. So someone who lost in qualifier round 1 or 2 would be ranked lower than someone who got a bye and then lost 0-2. Oh, qualifier round 1 win, 2 losses. I see. So yeah, I think that's just common sense. Jessic is a dirty, dirty kitten killer. I guess he feels the same way when he runs into Jessic in the ranked matches. It's tough talking for an hour. I need my giant mug of water right here. And, Ron commented that, you should be watching with the stream because I talk with my hands. And I do. I absolutely talk with my hands, and people have made fun of me for it for my entire life. And I don't care, because that's just how it's going to be. So, we got about 15 minutes left, and I did want to hit on one kind of meta market sort of thing. before we hit 5 o'clock, and Scaredy Cat comes on with his Scaredy Cat Investor Show. So, we're seeing signs of inflation finally. It's been a long time coming, basically. But you know, the the overall crypto markets, which includes the values of our Splinterlands cards, is been in crypto winter for quite some time. It's been thawing. We have the halving and all that kind of stuff, but we're still 55%, 60% off of all-time highs, something like that for Bitcoin. And as we saw in the 1718 run, everything else in crypto runs based on Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin goes up first. It has all the name recognition. It has all the market dominance. And then everything else followed, at least in 1718, everything else followed like a month later. So in this next phase, I don't think it'll be a month. I think it'll be a shorter time period because the market penetration is further along, but it'll still be following Bitcoin, basically. So if Bitcoin breaks 50,000, then people wake up and say, oh, I should go buy some. I don't want to spend $50,000 on a single Bitcoin, so I'm going to look for these cheaper things, even though mathematically that doesn't make any sense. So our card values, especially for the out-of-print ones, are going to follow that. So, right now I'm at, that 52,682. If Neil and Krim ever talk face to face, it's going to look like a fist fight. There. So, that number has been as high as 96 or 97, something like that. It was just shy of 100. But, a lot of my collection value is alpha and beta, which are no longer in print. So when we get the Bitcoin pump, then some fraction of those filter into our ecosystem and start wanting to drop some cash on those cards. And then we'll have all the crypto millionaires who have like 10 Bitcoin or whatever, or 5,000 ETH or whatever it is. They'll be able to come in and say, 0.2 ETH, no problem. Here you go. And that'll be some large amount of US dollars. So all that is to say that, we're seeing signs of inflation. And that is, bad for the real economy, obviously. But, nobody cares about the real economy anymore. It's all about the market values. So if we look at the SLV, this is the ETF that tracks silver. So let me just paste the daily chart here. So that is quite an uptrend, I think you could say. And also we have gold. Let's look at the GLD, which is a 1/10 fractional ETF. And this is the daily chart here. Let's post that there. So that is the gold daily chart. Okay, great. So, why does this matter? Well, it matters because these are areas that are already fully financialized and easy places for money to flow. So the fact that these are pumping like they are, and on silver, a daily chart doesn't even do it justice. So you really have to go back to a weekly chart where you can see, actually, even that doesn't do it. Let's go to a monthly chart. So here's a monthly chart of SLV, which, and there's the usual ETF problems of management fees and drift and tracking errors and all that kind of stuff. That's all true, but it's broadly accurate, let's say. So like SLV hit a high of 48.35, but silver actually hit 50 back in 2011. So that was the all-time high, which matched the 1982, I want to say, all-time high with the Hunt brothers trying to corner the market. And ever since then, silver's been, dying or dead. But now we're seeing signs of life. So money is flowing around, and that's what we call hot money in the financial world. So, the whole process, very, very simplified, is that the central banks create money, goes out to the primary dealers. The primary dealers spread it around to their favorite people or internally, and the charts don't. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. Forgot the transition. Okay. Well, that'll be tough for the replay folks, but the the charts will all be there in the post. So that's the second time I've forgotten to switch my scene. All right, hopefully you can see it now. But the so the point is, hot money is flowing. So central banks create base money. Base money goes to primary dealers. Primary dealers create broader money. Broader money goes out into the economy, right? And some of that money is going into gold. Some of that money is going into silver. Interestingly, it's going into silver faster than it is going into gold because the ratio between the two has been improving for silver lately. And the that's all preamble to say that some of that money is going to go eventually into crypto. And we've had a little bit of a pump, 2% in Bitcoin the last day or so. But this is just the very early stages of all the hot money that was created from the COVID crash going out into other things rather than just the stock market and the bond market. And Biz is asking, how are things going with your new Heron system that you are working on? So the maybe silver is more popular because people are afraid of vampires. The bankers are the vampires. It's a metaphor, sort of. But to answer your question, though, the Heron system is working great, actually. So we've been testing. We have about 50 accounts running right now, and they're all working fine. Distribution and everything is working. We have not yet designed the tokenization system, but that is actually pretty easy because we have similar. When I say we, I mean Gerber. We have similar distribution mechanisms already in place in other things, so that won't take long to code up. The thing that we're waiting on right now is collection scores and the league thresholds to see what exactly it is we're dealing with before we open it up to everybody. Because I'm already designing this to be a low hassle thing. So the very last thing I want is for a bunch of people to delegate a bunch of cards to a bunch of accounts, and then we find out that it's like, oh well, sorry, you're gonna have to redo all that work, and then those people are gonna be coming to me and say, oh, I need this, I need that, and I need to change the other thing. So Gerber should take away those ugly GFLs from mean old Jackie and create a gold foil Heron snake instead. Well, Gerber bought a lot of cards through this whole process. So he's I don't think he's in the top 10 holders yet, but he's close. In fact, I don't know if he's actually holding it on the Gerber account or not, but let's take a look. Let's see if we can find his collection. Because he's shown me his numbers, but I don't know if it's actually on. Oh yeah, here he goes. So he's already into the compute area. So that's Gerber's collection. So he has 104, almost 105,000 BCX of cards, and a bunch of that is gold foil. So, so he's hitting it hard, and I don't think he meant to, but it's what's happening. So yeah, I mean, like I said, the system's working. So the current the current iteration that we're on is that both both players and owners are going to be tokenized. So the advantage to that for players is that we're leveling out the luck of the different rewards. So instead of the occasional silver account getting really lucky and getting a gold foil legendary, or mostly unlucky and getting like all potions, which has happened to me playing silver accounts, and it's super frustrating. So we're removing all that volatility, and we're just going to pay out 50% based on basically based on contribution, where it's going to be winnings and quest reward ratio compared to the entire player base. And then on the owner side, our current idea is that instead of one owner delegating all the cards to one account, because we're going to tokenize it, basically you're going to get credit for the value of the cards that you delegate. So you can delegate, like if you're Matt Clark and you have 5,000 alpha flesh golems, you can delegate those to 5,000, well, not 5,000, but a bunch of different accounts and get partial credit of each account's winnings. That's, again, averaged out based on league and everything. So that, different owners can mix and match and fill in for different accounts. And that, I think, opens it up to a lot of other people. Yeah, but a lot of people like the hope chance of winning a GFL. Yeah, and those people are out of luck. So if you're in it for the gambling, tough. Don't play deck 404. And they'll still get to open, I guess, but they just won't get to keep. So there's that. But they will get the value of the GFLs. Are you going to keep track of if an account actually uses a card? That's an interesting question. So I'm not sure. We might end up doing it that way, where only the cards that are delegated and played count. So at the same time, we're going to have to prevent double counting for people who delegate an over-leveled card to for a particular summoner. Yeah, Jessica, same question. Would the cards have to be played and win battles? I don't know. So that's still in the design. Maybe we can run it a couple different ways and see how it works out. This is all very easy to change if it ends up being unsatisfactory for people. But the main thing to keep in mind is that you don't have to have a whole playing deck worth of extras in order to use the system as an owner. So, if a particular account needs a whatever ruler of the sea, let's say, and you have an extra ruler of the sea, then you can delegate just that one and still get into the earnings of the system. So yeah, Biz, Paul, and Jessic are all saying the same kind of things. And Paco says that is even worse. I'm not sure what is going to be worse about that, Paco. Or I think you're talking about the fact that you could open stuff but not keep it. Maybe, I don't know. Again, the gamblers are not going to be rewarded in this kind of system. It's going to be very equitable through play and through ownership. So obviously everything will be converted to Dark Injury Crystals because it's all going to be sent to Deck 101, and then earnings will be split according to whatever system we come up with. But again, we are waiting on collection scores and league thresholds to open. So yes, opening a GFL is what Paco says. Jessica says, I guess cards used to beat BJI 1203 are better than the cards used to lose against Knee Miners 69. Well, maybe so. But it's all going to be averaged out, one way or another. So we just have to, like I said, make sure to avoid double counting and avoid extra credit for unplayable cards. So again, if you have a level 4, Malric, let's say, and somebody delegates, a level 4 elementary or Phoenix, that can't actually be played at level 4, then you're not going to get credit for that extra level or those extra levels for the delegation. So it's only going to be, what is valuable to the deck, and whether that's played and valuable or just valuable, undetermined at this point. And Biz is going to share us some knowledge. Say, do you know how to beat BJI? Who's the number 1 player, in case you don't know? And you're going to have to tune in next time to find out, because we are about out of time. Next up, after a quick 30-second clip, is going to be Scaredy Cat with his Scaredy Cat Investor Show, where he reviews crypto and stock charts, and he'll give him a token, and he'll chart it for you and tell you where the support, resistance, potential opportunities are. So that is it for me this week, and we'll see you on the replay and see you on the podcast.